as I walked away, and he was like, "That's crazy, dude." We had this little whole like experience about it. As I walked away, I texted my wife and I said, I think I just met Jesus Christ.
People think that the Don's kind of rhetoric has changed and his stance on things have changed. And a lot of that's being contributed to the fact that the Epstein files just came out.
Yeah.
Or are coming out, or should be coming out.
And a lot of the prostitutes are putting a lot of pressure on Donnie. Another episode of Truth Disorder here today. It's Gary, we got Ernie, we got Charlie, and we got Davey.
Davey Crockett.
Davey Crockett.
We brought him back from the dead, ladies and gentlemen.
Best Val in the books.
I hate that.
And on that note, Davey Crockett's out of here.
Yeah, that's it for me. You know, there's a lot of interesting things that we want to talk about today. I've got one, that's for sure. But I do want to mention how awful my friend Gary is over here at Technical Awareness on Arc Raiders. Holy shit, man. But you know what? His shot is good. His shot is good.
Yeah.
And I'm glad. Yeah, I'm glad. I'm glad we've been able to run some games.
Born on December 2nd.
No, I'm saying.
You know what I mean?
I don't even know what that means.
Will Smith, you know what I mean?
Hey, you know the old saying? You know what I'm saying? It's good. You know what I'm saying? 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 You don't know what I'm saying.
You know what I mean?
You know what I mean?
Oh my God. We've been playing Arc Raiders lately. It's been really fun.
Arc Raiders is
so-
amazing.
They have been playing Arc Raiders
That's
because
true.
it's a 3-man crew, and I'm the launch.
Well,
That's okay.
I haven't played with you guys yet, and the problem is Tarkov wiped, so I'm not playing Arc Raiders at all anymore.
That's
We've
true.
also been on your deathbed. I'm
That's
glad you
fair.
made it.
I was- true.
I was dying.
Almost dead.
I was dying. Literally 4 days
Yeah.
of straight fever, just like Tylenol, Motrin, nothing. Just
What's the opposite of straight fever?
straight fever.
Flamboyant fever.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's the one.
man fever,
Curvy fever.
baby.
Yeah,
Man fever.
I mean, the wife was like, "Oh, you're dying. You know,
Cricket fever.
you're playing the whole man flu stuff." And then she realized, like on day 3 of fever, is like, "Oh shit, maybe you are sick."
Maybe it's time for a little bit of Tylenol.
No, I was already on that.
He's like, no,
I
I
was
already have autism.
I already have autism, bro.
Jesus Christ.
Fucking dropped me on my head one too many
Yeah,
times,
Tylenol's
dude.
not bringing me any further on the spectrum,
Dom.
baby. I'm already at the wall.
Dom, you look like you've been having a rough week. Dude, you good?
Dude, yeah, it's been a rough week.
Yeah. I'm just trying to crack a smile on Dom because Dom's been having a rough week, and we're gonna turn this sucker around for him. Okay.
You know,
so we're not doing this just for you this week. We're doing this for Dom. How's my sound, by the way? Is it a
You
little?
sound good.
Just so you know,
I'm with it right now.
Dom was on the Epstein list, and that's why he's having such a bad.
Not Dom.
Yeah, sorry you showed up in there, Dom. We're praying.
Not
for you.
Dom, the Don.
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 Oh yeah.
Not Dom.
What's
Dom.
up with that rumor about him and Clinton? Was that AI?
No. So what that was, it was Jeffrey.
I didn't even want to look into that. I don't want that in my
It was
browser
Jeffrey
history.
Epstein saying that like it would be unfortunate if the photo of Trump blowing Bubba, which was like a classic nickname for Bill Clinton, got out.
Well, no,
Nothing's been
I think
released.
he's talking about the video that I shared with you guys and shared in the Discord where Trump's like,
Grab.
I
that
saw
AI?
that and I
Was
didn't
that
like-
real?
I don't know.
it's questionable.
It's
I
hard
feel
to
like
tell
that's
anymore.
been the purpose of AI since all this AI started
Ruining
happening.
people?
Well, so that all this stuff that's actually coming out that's
Oh,
real,
plausible deniability.
plausible deniability of deepfakes.
Yeah.
You know what's crazy is it all started with porn. That's
Oh,
weird.
yeah.
That was weird
You're
that I
talking
just brought that
about-
up, but
that
it's
is
true.
weird.
But it's
Yeah,
true. It
do
was
you
like
mean?
deep.
Expand.
It was like deep fakes.
You're talking about like anime and stuff?
No. I'm talking
like
about
back
like
in the day.
AI.
It's not just porn, even though it's mostly porn.
AI deepfakes started with like celebrity sex tapes, but it was like Jennifer Lawrence or Jennifer Aniston or whatever.
Oh,
They'd be
yeah, like
deepfaked into porn.
celebritydeepfakes.com.
Right.
Sorry.
So do you
website,
think
don't go
that
there.
the Kim K, Ray J was?
No, that
deepfake?
was for real.
That was for real.
That was
she
for
took
real.
that back shot like a champ, bro.
But it's interesting that was so many
Gary's
years
like-
ago, and now they're actually utilizing it to like kind of ruin people's lives.
We actually finished last week's episode, and Charlie pulled me aside last week.
Yeah, did I go too hard?
He was like, "Hey, dude, was there a little weird energy at the end of that?" And I was like, I don't know, man. It was pretty good to
Yeah,
me.
Gary's
He's
trying
like, I
to
don't know.
spare
it's-
my feelings. He's like, no, I'm
No,
not sure,
it was
dude.
good, dude. Like I was like, you may have went a little hard there towards the end with like some of the F-bombs and stuff. He's like, well, I didn't get the disclosure on PG-13. I was like, totally respect that. But he was like, but that's why we need Ernest here. And I was like, yeah, I know. Like he has
Well,
his
first,
moments.
I was still buzzed. And I'm like, that's why we need Dom here, man.
No, you just need me here to say something stupid to break
Yeah,
the
just
to
break
break
the
the
ice.
ice.
That's
Like,
the best part.
That was the point of that. I literally referenced your Ernie moments.
Yeah,
And- yeah, that's perfect.
well,
Say what?
Cut! No, man. You're making me fall asleep. To death, bro. Okay, the line is, Say what?
Say what?
Say what?
Say what?
Say
what?
what? Say what?
Johnny! This character is not me.
Say what?
Stop it! Listen!
Hey, what-
This
what-
is always like, let's get back on track here.
All right, guys, let's get back on track here. So,
Grab your liberal tears energy cup.
Liberal Tears Energy Cup.
Yeah,
You're
well,
not in Liberal Tears. Check them out,
I did want to say
liberaltears.com.
that
Sponsor of Truth Disorder.
we started doing we opened up our Discord to production admin stuff, and so we're starting to get that rolling. So hopefully those links will be in our clips from now on. That way you could feel free to join our Discord. If we have any gamers out there that want to play games with us, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Not only that, guys, we're literally paying someone now to make better edits of our stuff so that we can provide you with more quality content. For those of you that have been loyal to us just by watching Ernie's, hand at editing and whatnot, thank you so much for remaining and watching us and giving us your time and attention and energy. But we are really striving to provide you with some quality production level content. Super excited to be working with Dom's team even more than we have already. Tony, Leah, you guys are amazing. Well, I don't know Leah yet, but I mean, I've met
I'm
Leah.
sure she is.
But
I'm sure she
Leah
is.
seems very sincere.
By the group chat, I thought y'all were like, man, Leah.
She's got a fire about her. Am I right?
Like Gary was like all in that group chat, like
Yeah,
Leah, bro, bro.
Yeah,
like,
I met Leah at a happy hour last weekend with them and had a little conversation with her, and she just seems like she's hungry. You know, she's ready to work. She's into the kind of stuff that we talk about.
That's good.
And I think that's huge.
Yeah.
I think that's really huge. You know,
well, you have to be open to that.
And the point is too, guys, like it means a lot. You don't get time back, right? You don't get energy back without time as well.
Yeah.
It's a resource that we really appreciate you spending here with us. It really does mean a lot.
And last thing we want is to get an editor that photoshops my face onto Don while he's doing things to Bubba. You know what I mean?
Okay,
And
that'd be
we
freaking
post it.
awesome.
So did
That'd
Don?
be really cool.
Did Don join the Groypers?
Can somebody out there make a
He didn't
a gif
disavow
of Gary
Fuentes.
just patting
didn't.
fucking Epstein on the penis?
Very clearly didn't. Now he did the disassociation of Kanye brought him. I'm not really sure who he was, but he also didn't say I disavow him completely. I think that's part of the weird shift that we're seeing, and I think that what's happening is the realignment. I think that young people are just kind of done in general with everything, and I think that weirdly enough, Trump, the boomer that he is, kind of gets that.
Well, and we're now 9 of 9. I said 8 of 8 in the group chat the other day, but we're 9 of 9 because Candace Owens just came out and actually confirmed that everybody that becomes an influential power or falls in the money
gets the call.
Gets a handler.
I believe, and I'm saying this retrospectively, that from that moment onward, Charlie and I were assigned handlers. Okay, this is an expression that Kanye used to say, have a handler. I thought that he was just saying that. I thought that he was referring to just Hollywood. I now very much believe that I have had.
And
They
we
get the
talked
call,
about
yeah. Well, and so then also too, it reminds me of when Matt Gaetz came out and publicly said when he went to Congress, they had an AIPAC fundraiser and they literally put QR codes on all these incoming and existing Congress people, and if you liked that person's message and thought they were going to be a good ally for AIPAC, American Israeli Political Action Committee, they would literally scan your QR code and donate directly to your website.
which is wild.
It's all a shell game. It's all owned.
That's
and it's
almost
the same,
like the
it's the same
digital
way for
IV thing.
It's the same way for the influencers as well. It's the same thing. Tim Pool was actually in the pocket for a long time, and I think he isn't anymore, which is really weird and interesting to see.
Well, and
I've always liked him.
A lot of political influence is bought, right?
Yes.
I'm watching and looking at this from the outside in, and just like everybody who's watching us right now is probably watching the political powers to be. But I feel like the GOP is actually imploding right now. We have Trump coming out and denouncing his nomination for Marjorie Taylor Greene, who has this push about America first, and a lot of people think she's shifting, but it's just the fact that she doesn't actually support what's going on with Izzy and what our government is providing for Izzy.
There are a couple layers with her too. I would say one of the big things that I've always disagreed with her on is, and we've got to remember, guys, Marjorie Taylor Greene owns a contracting firm in Florida. she is a big fan of H-1Bs and legal immigration for like cheap labor.
Well, and she even came out and said that that would crush her construction business.
Yeah.
Right. But
I appreciate the honesty, though.
Yeah, I appreciate her saying
I like
it.
what you
She
said
said
about Donnie Boy being boomer, though, and
Yeah, he
that's
is.
not in like a mocking sense. It legitimate. I think we're starting to see some of that old person decline, neurological decline.
I think so, more
He's
and more.
79 years old, right? So like he probably doesn't have the same amount of energy that he did before when we were addressing a lot of these different kinds of things, and he's just like relying on the people that are advising him to say what he has to say.
Yeah.
And he still says it with that same pizzazz, but that boomer-esqueness is coming out, at a more sloppy level. For example, on Air Force One, when that
little piggy?
reporter,
He called her a little piggy?
he said basically,
He
like,
said quiet
I'm not
piggy.
going. Yeah.
quiet piggy. What?
Sir, if there's nothing incriminating in the file, Venezuela, sir, why are you acting as a Venezuela, sir?
So he dictated.
I love her. I've always loved that.
I think it's hilarious, but I don't know,
That's
man.
kind of crazy.
Well,
It's
he-
kind of crazy.
I
He
have
also-
zero respect for prostitutes, so every time he makes fun of them, it's perfect. I enjoy that.
But he
Hashtag
also-
prostitutes. I love that.
He also did say though that he was not going to heaven.
Do they?
Which is
do the prostitutes go to press whores?
press stores? Press stores?
Press whores?
Oh, press stores. I don't know.
But I've always subscribed to the fact that no matter who our president is, like the commander in chief, like very military-esque, right? Like you have to respect him because they've earned their spot where they're at. So it's like,
Yeah.
yes, I like the fact that he just is on a whim can say what the fuck he wants.
Yeah,
it's kind of like
it's funny, but it's like, whoa.
refreshing. But
Yeah.
at the same time, when the whole world is looking at you, you want a commander in chief that you can lift up and be like, yeah,
That is JFK,
That is
basically.
our
Our
commander in
last great
chief.
president was JFK.
But a lot of people think that the Don's kind of
And he's Democrat.
rhetoric has changed and his stance on things have changed. And a lot of that's being contributed to the fact that the Epstein files just came out.
Yeah.
Or are coming out or should be coming out.
And a lot of the prostitutes are putting a lot of pressure on Donnie. And why aren't this? What's so funny?
The prostitutes.
Prostitutes
It was hilarious.
Sir.
Yeah. It was hilarious. Keep going.
Thanks. Okay, but they're putting a lot of pressure on Donnie and the administration about why aren't we talking about this? And then then there's all of this like money and influence and litigation going into jailing, imprisoning people, and heavily destroying regular people like us for bringing up valid questions, for bringing up valid points.
Yeah.
Right. And I think why was there such a big turn? My conspiracy theory, this wouldn't be Truth Disorder without a solid conspiracy theory. My conspiracy theory is that they were going so hard in the paint, all of these folks that were running, all these folks in their cabinet that before they got their appointed positions, to where they were like, we're not gonna accept this, we're not gonna let this happen. And then when they got into power, my conspiracy theory is that the powers that be, the puppet masters, actually do have access to all of the information on everybody's phones across the entire world, and we're able to pool stuff on all of those people and say, hey, we can not only show people what you've done, but we can fabricate it just enough to make it that much worse and to just cancel and destroy you. And now they're falling in line. And they do the whole cartel agreement of accept X amount of money, we won't destroy you, we'll support you, or don't accept and we'll kill your family.
Yeah.
Or you're just going to randomly disappear.
Well, Cash Patel is an excellent example of that. I agree with that.
That's who I was thinking about when I said that.
I agree with all of that. Yeah, it's totally true. And then here's the thing, too. I think people forget this. The first Trump administration was a disaster for two reasons. One, the whole Russiagate thing. And two, because he had so many people who said, like, yeah, I'm with you on this, came in and then didn't do it. Trump... The problem that Trump's always had is it's like, and I think about this too, like if I fantasize about being in a political position, it's like if I was the president, I would know who I would have for like my first 20 positions. But then there's like 800 more to fill. It's just kind of like a tough thing. And then not only that, like one person gets comped, what do you do? Another person gets comped, what do you do? It's just such a weird problem. And I think that the real issue is that the whole system is rotten to its core and it can't be fixed. I think it's really what we're starting to see.
Well,
and Rome experienced the same thing.
Well, and that's what we were talking about earlier before we hit the record button is, like, if these files do come out and these names are released, like, what's the course of action? Like,
yeah, what are we even going to do?
Like, would all these world leaders get arrested.
Yeah. What's going to happen, for example, and I'm not making any statements, I'm going off of what Trump said, but with the former CEO/owner of Barclays, like, what are we going to do to him? The guy is not even worth an amount of money. He has an institutional level of power that I think is almost impossible to understand. Because you can understand why a king's powerful. You can understand why the president's powerful. You cannot really truly understand why a banker is powerful.
And man, great points. And further on that, you know, people are pulling up tweets of Shapiro saying, I would be down to waive a certain amendment so that Bibi could be the next president of the United States because he wasn't born here, right? Not only that, there was recently, Nettie was asked, hey, what book are you currently reading right now? He said The Jews vs. Rome. And that book is about how the Jews revolted against Rome historically. And then he followed that by saying, basically, paraphrase, we're not going to lose this time.
Yeah.
Now, who do people compare America to? Rome. Even Ye says it. Built a new Rome in one day. How? With sexuality, with carnality, XYZ. So there's almost like this like religion justified, you know, goal to destroy America because we're just goyim. That's what they call us. All the non-Jews are essentially goyim. And I'm not saying this to attack Judaism in any sense, because quite frankly, I do feel like there is a lot of validity in the God-inspired Old Testament, the law itself. But seeing that through a gospel lens is what separates all religions from Christianity. Right, and so I'm not attacking Judaism in it, whatever. But I am attacking.
There are elements.
Almost done. I am attacking the Talmudic lens of Judaism, which I do feel like is a satanically inspired lens and perversion of Judaism.
Well, and I think that, like, Mark Levin, for example, because he came out and had like a whole speech on it, he's like, well, you can try and kill us. Nobody's trying to do that. It's kind of weird that his brain went there. You can try and silence us. You can try and kill us. He means the Jewish people when he says that. I don't want that. I think the vast majority of people do not want that. But we beat the Romans, we beat the Byzantines, and it's weird of him to like bring that up because nobody's thinking about that except for him and a lot of his ideological cohorts. So it kind of puts us in this weird position where the people who are trying to destroy our country have these like weird blood debts in their head, and they remember the empires they've toppled. I don't know if you guys know this, but it was actually a Zionist faction within Constantinople that opened up the gates and destroyed it and turned it into an Islamic state.
Well, and what's wild too, like when we're talking about this whole like world retaliation and conquering that we feel like or we're seeing happen. I don't know if you've seen it or not, but there's been like a meme or an audio going around of the Hitler speech converted into English.
Yeah.
And it talks about those things. It talks about how Judaism will try and rule or commit, you know, these heinous crimes against these other religious people, and we're seeing it happen right now.
I don't know when that was written. I'm willing to bet that was written probably before World War II, because it just seemed apparent that, and sorry to reference this, but I mean, Alex Jones, he says some crazy wild shit, but obviously 90% of that shit is
like
true.
Right 90% of the time.
Yeah. So I mean, that's a good ratio.
Yeah, that's a really good ratio.
Almost never wrong.
On his interview with Tucker, they basically brought up how he was just like a war hero. He had his shit together, even all the way through World War I. But there are basically videos that show that Hitler was super wired and super like I think that was during the time when meth became an actual medication that was being pushed out by big pharma.
It was like lead paint. Era. They didn't get what it was going to do.
They didn't get what it was going to do. All he knew is that he was probably tired as fuck and got a lot of energy from it. But then I don't know if you ever met someone that's on meth. It gets fucking weird.
Well, and their decision making is impaired as well. And their long term.
F-bomb. I'm really trying to work on that.
I know their long term.
Not even just for the podcast, but for personal reasons.
Their long term decision making is completely impaired. But then the other issue, like deeper with what we're talking about, is the exact same thing that we see with Mark Levin and Ben Shapiro doing is also what the Somalis in Minneapolis are doing, but they're doing it on like a clinic level. Did you guys see what happened with the Minneapolis mayor's race? Jacob Frey, if you don't remember that, he was the mayor of Minneapolis. He was also the guy who knelt at St. Floyd's golden casket and cried his tears in the middle of COVID while this is all happening. he won against his Somali opponent because that Somali opponent was part of a different clan. So he went to the other clans that didn't want that clanic leader in charge of the entire city and said, hey, vote for me. I'm a white guy, but I'm going to support all the clans equally. Whereas that guy, like, very clearly was coming out and saying, and this is all translated, so I'm not 100% sure, but saying, like, yeah, we're going to put pogroms on the other clans. Like, we're importing these different ethnic groups, and the point is, too, is that the Jewish people see themselves generally as an ethnic group. A lot of them don't. There are many people who don't, but there are a lot of them who do, like Shapiro, like Levin. And we have, like, this weird problem now where, like I've said before, a lot of Americans of all races, colors, and creeds were taught, like, hey, we don't believe in that. But then we're importing people, or we have groups that have always believed that and just don't say it out loud. And now we're kind of seeing the fruit of that come to roost.
What's that rule? The history repeats itself. I mean, we've seen this already before several times on account. But I mean, before it was race, now it's religion, right? Like.
Well, and also I want to be super clear too. Like these clans see themselves as separate races from each other. Even the Somalis believe that deeply, and the Jews do too. They see themselves as an ethnic group, and they're right to do so. All we're seeing in all this problem is just ethnic in-group bias. Which is a problem because the entire point of the American experiment is that we don't do that. So when people are saying, like, yeah,
like once you join, you're American.
We were supposed to be the melting pot. Like that's what we. Like,
but you come here to adopt American values to further their American dream based on
which
the original American vision,
which were based off Christianity.
But then when you have mayor's races being decided by different clans, and then you have like national syndicated radio hosts coming out and saying, hey, like, we remember the Byzantines, we remember Rome, we remember Constantinople. It's like, dude, what? Most people couldn't even point out Constantinople on a map.
Well, and I mean, if we look at it realistically as well, it's like I mean, you were just in Dearborn, and have you seen what's going on in Dearborn, Michigan right now?
Yeah. Oh, like, I said Minneapolis. I meant Dearborn.
You meant Dearborn.
Sorry, guys.
I was going to say
Jacob Frey, the whole thing about the clans that happened. That's Dearborn.
Because
Michigan.
Now there are a lot of Christians taken to the street in protest to Muslims. And we're starting to have these acts of violence happen.
Well, in the police there, the police system in Dearborn, the majority of the police officers are of these different clans. Like they're all Islamists as well. And then we see Greg Abbott letting that happen too here, and then also like the amount of Indians are coming in. The largest statue in the country is of one of the Indian demon gods. It's in Texas.
Ishtar?
No, that's way older than that. Ishtar, I believe, was a Zoroastrian.
I think
Persian of some sort.
Is it that same person?
It's a fertility goddess.
That is they have the statue of this the statue is in front of where they do the Hadron Collider.
Mesopotamian goddess of war. That's what it was. That's what Ishtar was. No, I can't remember which one. Let me look it up.
And I mean, how are they doing this? And of course, you know, people that we're talking about.
It's Hanuman.
Hanuman.
And it's at the Sri Ashtalakshmi Temple in Sugar Land, Texas.
Let me try that with my skin color.
Yeah, you're not.
Shri Ashtalakshmi.
Yeah, but my point is the problem is it's like we're importing groups who don't believe in the things that we're all supposed to believe.
Crazy.
And that is going to go the wrong way. I brought it up last time, Ernest, you weren't here. I went and did more research on it. The reason why Rome fell in the Republic stage was primarily because they imported thousands of foreign mercenaries and thousands of foreign workers to essentially act as slaves for the political ruling class. Isn't that funny? And then those groups, they banded together, and then there were like sectional conflicts. There were issues in the political system because of it.
Going backwards, you're becoming tribals.
Yes.
Tribalistic.
Well, and I think that's deep inside of us always. And you have to very carefully figure out how to like resist that urge. That's why America was doing so well for the brief period of time from like 65 to like 90. But now we see that whole system falling apart, and I'm kind of wondering where it's all going to go.
Into the pooper.
But why is it falling apart, right? I mean, we got to look at
because they're attacking the kids. They're putting so much money at attacking kids. For example, I don't like the parents that are blind. Sorry, parents, that I know you guys are really working your ass off, so you don't have time to like look into a lot of this stuff and all that. But make time, okay? You know your kid's saying 6'7". You know, 6'7", this right here. You know that's from a song by Skrilla, who participates in demonic animal sacrifice, voodoo, whenever he makes his songs. Literally, he named his songs after some of the demons or gods that he calls them that he worships. 6, why do you see a lot of people doing this? Well, let me explain it to you. Like Justin Jefferson doing his thing. Justin Jefferson, the guy that actually admits to having a different spirit in him or a different person in him whenever he puts his jewelry on, whenever he puts his grills in. What does this mean? Well, think about it. What is this number? That's a 6. There's 3 6s here in this right here. 666 in this symbol. This symbol, as above, so below. It's how they refer to bringing hell to the surface. So when you're letting your kids just harmlessly say 6'7", 6'7", who knows? Are you manifesting something?
Oh,
maybe
he practices Santeria.
Santeria.
Yeah, they actually sacrifice animals. And
it's not harmless.
Do weird stuff.
Yeah, and so like we've got to ask ourselves, okay, when does the magic soil take effect, and when do these people like turn into actual Americans, or like what are we gonna do? Like if we have an entire city where the mayoral race is won by a smart white guy who realizes he can pit the clans against each other, it immediately makes me wonder. It makes me think about the Amazon study. Amazon did a study where they realized that if they diversified their workplace, it made it easier to crush unions because the different groups, the managerial staff, be able to play them against each other. Yeah, it's like this weird problem. And it didn't used to be a problem to my understanding, although who knows? We don't know, really. Yeah. I just wonder where this is all going, and I think it's going to go into an imperial state, because I think as well the delegitimization of the political system is in full effect before our very eyes. You know how
talking about the attacking of the Constitution?
No, the Constitution is just a piece of paper at this point, to be frank with you.
It's like our money. It's just a piece of paper.
Well, not even that. So back in the 60s, like celebrities had a different, and you can see it in the way that they were written about, the way that they were revered. They were very different all the way up to the 90s, like Michael Jackson, right? Part of that is because Michael Jackson didn't give every dog shit opinion he has on Twitter 24/7. So now we see that on every level, all the people who hold these levers of power in our society. Like, for example, I saw a professor that I actually really appreciated. Like, he would always go on. He'd be curated. I've read all his books. They're great. But then he goes on Twitter and he's a libtard. And he's just like spouting the most like brain dead things. And I just think like there's this whole delegitimization of the people who are supposed to be intellectuals. And that's happening at the presidential level. It's happening in Congress because everybody's giving their dog shit opinion on Twitter constantly. Eventually, there's going to be a point, I think, where somebody says that we've had enough, and a faction says we've had enough, and we have an imperial revolt.
Don't feel attacked, but you remember your dog shit opinion on Brigitte Macron?
Yeah.
So she's listed as a man on tax records.
Uh-huh.
French media is reporting that Brigitte Macron, the wife of the president of France, Emmanuel Macron, is registered as a man in the tax registry. Brigitte's gender is listed as male, and her name, the name, is recorded as Jean Michel. Michel?
Michel.
John Michel.
It's M-I-C-H-E-L.
Well, and I saw that, and I said that I'd be open to new evidence. So I'm open to new evidence on that.
It is a very manly name.
The thing is with that, too, like that's further proof of the delegitimization of the whole system.
So wait, where does that put the whole Candace Owens stuff?
It's giving her more credit.
Yeah.
So if stuff that is coming out...
But now we're not hearing about it.
I know, but if stuff that is coming out to be true that she says...
Instead, we're having a schism on the right wing in America.
Exactly.
And then it starts with indoctrination, though.
Yeah. And the liberals are like, oh, God, Hal Graper is being destroyed by, the Graper is destroying the MAGA movement.
Well, and I feel like the only,
the Grapers are the MAGA movement.
The only cure for separating these wolf packs and this division and this divisiveness and this mentality of, oh, I'm right and you're right, is to actually take the technology and the ease of access out of kids' hands. And RFK says that. He said he just came out and made a statement that says if your kid sleeps or has his phone by his ear, take it away. If your kid has his phone in his pocket, take it away. Mm-hmm. Because it is causing a cancer and it is causing a mental illness that is not curable because your kids have so much information at the palm of their hands that it is indoctrinating their minds. It is altering the way they think. and it might not be giving them the right information.
Well, and it's the classic toaster screwing example that I brought up. You know what I mean? Like you have this weird predilection. You think that something's normal. Then you go on the internet and there's a bunch of people who do the same thing. Now you think it's normal. Instead of in the old days, like somebody would just be like, "Oh, this guy screws toasters," and then they beat you, and then you wouldn't screw the toasters anymore.
Dom, can I make a specific request? Because I mean, we wouldn't have a good-looking person on here if we didn't have David.
What the
So
Davey.
Davey
Crockett.
Could you like watch his face whenever a point's being made, and then maybe kind of hone in on him, because he makes some pretty interesting faces, right? And also very
Dave's
handsome.
the reaction guy.
Just devastatingly handsome faces as well. So right, like just be able to like lock in on him when a point's being, because we got to get the viewers what they want.
Well, and you know what's wild, kind of elaborating on the technology issue is that San Antonio ranks near the bottom for child academic performance in Texas. What? So
Wait, say that again?
Yeah, San Antonio is ranking near the bottom for child academic performance in Texas.
Yeah, all the teachers are liberals.
We have one school in the whole.
Sorry, guys, y'all are worried about gender training and shit like that. Worry about math, bro.
So there is one school that ranks
Worry about reading.
high, and it just so happens to be in the south. No, it's in the South Side District. Out of all places.
Which part? Does it say?
It didn't say specifically, but it's in.
I know a lot of teachers, and I don't know it's because they are really close to the same group of people that I know, but most of the teachers that I know in the San Antonio area actually are liberals. And I'm not.
Is that in San Antonio, or is it San Antonio surrounding area?
San Antonio surrounding area.
I don't even think that's actually.
Really? That's
our
crazy.
school district sucks.
I don't think that's even the issue. So I have a thought on this. Did you guys see?
I'm gonna take a shot every time you disagree with me.
You're gonna be fucking wasted. So here's the thing, guys. In Charlotte, North Carolina, they rushed ICE in there. Did you know that when they did that, I think it was like
24,000 something, like
27,000 people, 15% of the school population didn't show up the day after. Well, the problem is, I imagine there's a very large amount of people who literally cannot speak English, who came in from a foreign country because their parents brought them here, or they're just like part of the state ward system. They're being put into public schools. When I was living in France, I went to a school, and I'm still upset on some level that this happened to me. I was put into a school where everything was done in French, with the exception of English class. My grades were miserable, and I had been a very good student up to that. They were miserable because everything was in French, and I couldn't understand it. That's what we're experiencing here.
True, but again, it's ideology is liberal. Like, for example,
I think it's a part of it.
It's a big part of it. It's a huge part of it because they're focused on the wrong things, except the fundamentals of just learning.
So I pulled up the article. It says here that only 5% of San Antonio area schools received an A on the rankings, compared to 6% in Rio Grande Valley, 8% in West Texas, 9% in Central Texas, 11% in North Texas, and 13% in Houston.
I do really.
It says the top-rated local elementary school was in Comau Independent School District, Hoffman Lane Elementary,
Well done,
which was
Hoffman
placed
Lane.
122nd in the state, followed by Northside ISD's AUE Elementary. Area middle and high schools landed higher on the list. D'Hanis School in D'Hanis ISD was ranked as the 27th middle school statewide. So
did y'all hear about that big raid that went down, had a bunch of FBI and stuff like that on San Pedro?
Oh, on Bassie and Oblate or whatever. Yeah.
So they basically took down or took in like 150 illegals, and the purpose of it was to address a massive human trafficking and narco effort. Dude,
wasn't it massage parlors, by the way?
I don't know, but I
think it was.
I know the very next day, dude.
No, it was a hotel. It was a motel.
The very next day, the Bexar County Democrats Facebook group, and I guess organized or maybe had something to do with putting together a massive ICE protest. And it just boggles my mind that people are protesting ICE for arresting a bunch of Tren de Aragua, like Venezuelan operations happening in our own city.
Tied to human trafficking.
Tied to human trafficking of underage people and above. What on earth?
Very interesting, by the way. I just want to touch on it. My a very good previous client of mine does. She's the. I don't want to mention it. I don't know how far I want to go with that, but she does work for the Bexar County Family Services that intercepts. She works with advocates that intercepts human trafficking things.
Yeah.
And she did tell me that the youngest person that they've ever intercepted and advocate for was like an 8-month-old little boy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, ugh, what?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And I'm not putting propaganda out there to say, oh, Bexar County Democrats are evil, but I am saying have some sense in what you're protesting before you go do it. Don't worship your political ideology without having some sense of humanity. John was making a point.
I saw the same post, and a lot of it is the narrative that's being pushed. It's not, hey, these are child traffickers and drug traffickers. It's, hey, these are illegals. Trump is trying to get them out. That's the narrative I kept on seeing being pushed. But then on the right, you saw, hey, they're drug traffickers, children traffickers. This person's connected to this many sex trafficking crimes. And it's completely different.
More information. Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. Like, don't, and that goes for both sides. I'm not attacking just Bexar County Democrats, like Bexar County Republicans, Bexar County human beings. Look at both sides, man. Are you just subscribed to CNN? You're messing up. Subscribe to Fox News so you can tell how both of them are lying to you.
Right. Didn't we just talk about that? I feel like it was like last week or something.
Once a month, dude.
But it was like when I was talking about like just be a decent human being, and so we kind of got in a little scuffle about what is a decent human being because it's all societal based. But I think it comes back down to that is like why if our country was just a bunch of basic human beings that knew right from wrong, dude, you know how far we could progress as society? It's insane because all these test scores would be completely different. We wouldn't have issues about like whether or not you're on the good side or the bad side of this FBI raid or ICE raid, because it would just be like, oh shit, they found how many people doing this? That's crazy. That's wrong. Let's agree that all that's wrong.
Well, and the thing with the school test scores is that it is a lagging indicator of a huge problem. Yeah. Like when is that going to get addressed and fixed? And then they're going to move up to the next grade, and then it's going to be that teacher's problem, on and on and on until they're in high school. I think it was like, it might have been Berkeley that said the majority of college students come in, and a lot of I think it's like 27% can't do like a basic algebraic split.
Which is weird because they changed PEMDAS. I'm just saying, I don't know what timeline we're in right now,
it's
but
the Obama core.
Yeah. Bro, because PEMDAS used to mean one thing, and then people are explaining it now. I'm like, no, that's fucking wrong. How did you do that? That's not how you did that.
We have Common Core math now too.
Common Core, Obama core,
And now I feel like where I'm like,
a friend of mine has a kid, and I saw them doing Common Core math, and I was like, this is confusing.
Yeah.
And it's on purpose, by the way.
It's on purpose, so they hate it.
So I had my sister-in-law yell at me because I was like, oh, it's 10 times 10. Just times the 1 by 1 and add 2 zeros. Yeah. Oh, you can't do it like that.
They have to show the
you got to show. You got to show. I'm like, whatever happened from working from top down and left to right.
Who did she vote for? Why was it Kamala?
No, it wasn't.
Are you serious?
Yeah, 100%.
She was like fully like supporting the new way of doing it.
They had to.
Was it like a vehement like
you have to or you fail?
If you don't
and
do
that's
it.
the whole problem.
That's what I was gonna say because
I'm taking my kid out that school.
What are you gonna do when you help your kid this whole entire time and then they turn their test in and they start failing because it's not graded the same way as somebody who showed their work? Yes, you've gotten them to the answer quicker, but it's not the parents' fault. It's the institution that is grading that, or it's the teacher who's being told that that's what you got to do too.
Can somebody say indoctrination much?
Well, and think about how this is just such a microcosmic issue that is the society kind of like rests upon. The success of society rests upon this issue, and then there's like 30 other issues just like it.
So symbolic.
It is.
Dom, you had something?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was in early college classes in high school. I had a
Weird
algebra
flex.
guy. I had an algebra teacher that was like, I don't give a fuck about your. He's like, he said to the class, I don't give a fuck about y'all showing y'all's work. Here's a calculator. This is how you do it on the calculator. Just give me the answer. I don't care how you got it. Shit, you can look it up on your phone. Just turn it in.
Yeah.
And then he's like, you're not gonna use this shit later. And then that was his whole.
That's amazing.
And then he would show us how to do it on the calculator, and that's how we passed the work.
That's amazing.
That's like 1 in a million, though.
Because it's like, you know what my favorite time in math class was when like 4th grade was it was called Mad Minute. It was fucking like 10 to 15 multiplication things, and you had to answer them as quick as possible, and then you were done. You only had a minute to do it, and the teacher graded you on like how many you completed. And it was amazing. I actually really enjoyed that. And I look back and I'm like,
Yeah, it's
I have this, so I don't really care anymore.
Yeah.
And I think that maybe they should be teaching that. It's like, okay, you got a freaking supercomputer in your hands.
Could you imagine the math people would be doing if you took their phones away from them?
They wouldn't be
Like-
happy. I was literally in
Well,
college.
then it would all be theoretical because
Well,
then it would be
I would
progressing
like
a little bit faster.
to know how many people out there would be able to solve the
I-
simple math problems.
Just solve anything. I went to
Oh,
college.
for sure. Oh, nowadays.
Nowadays.
Oh,
Went
yeah.
to college to a private university post-military during COVID, 2020, 2024.
Crazy flex.
2020. No, not a flex. Not a flex. But mind you, I am like in my 30s with a bunch of like a lot of people fresh out of high school.
Mm-hmm.
The amount of crutches that teachers gave,
Oh, yeah, it's like the curves are crazy
the
now.
curves are insane. I saw a 36-point curve. What?
Yeah.
Dude, that's why I would like, dude, just meeting the doctors you're gonna meet. They're not the same
Well,
doctors.
and then the
Right,
other,
because C's get degrees.
They're Google
and
doctors.
those-
They're Google doctors. They're
Yeah.
doing.
Well, there is a like a Wikipedia for doctors that they all come. So, Brooke went to the OBGYN,
Yeah.
and we were in there for about an hour after we, yeah. That's what we had to ask because she's got such a rare condition in women that it's like not every single OBGYN is going to know exactly what you're going through or even how to treat what you're going through. So they have a full library list of like, hey, this is what the patient is claiming, blah blah blah. I'm looking it up, and now I've got to read this all so I can get a better understanding. Are you an expert in that now? No. So it's like
My own primary care manager. I went through dermatology. I went through all kinds of things to cure this situation here, and I haven't done what I've been treating it with, but I found something on X. It's eczema. I found something on X that basically talked about how you can essentially suppress any inflammatory issues the best way possible with topical ivermectin. So I've tried steroids, corticosteroids, pills, certain lotions, XYZ, you name it, that the VA threw at me. Nothing worked. If not, it made it worse. I bought 0.87 ivermectin horse paste. There's a horse on the box, and it's apple flavored. And I bought it on Amazon, and I started applying it once a day, and then moisturizing in the morning, and it went completely away. I haven't done it in like a whole week. I'm now going to my primary care manager, and I'm like, "Hey, man, so ivermectin worked. Thanks a lot." He's like, "No way." And I showed him. He was like, "Whoa. Let me see if I can get you some ivermectin cream."
Which is crazy because I think you got to have a little grace with them because especially primary care physicians, they rely on the experts that they refer out to.
Here's the thing. It's very far and few between that you meet a humble primary care physician. He's my third one at that facility. Yeah. The first two laughed at me whenever I recommended anything. Legit LOL. I got a secure messaging. I have a screenshot of it somewhere where I showed research from MIT to my primary care manager, and he says, LOL, I don't look at conspiracy theories.
That's crazy.
Lamau.
You're fired. I'm finding new primary care.
Exactly.
Yeah,
But
and
it wouldn't surprise me if at least 50% of them are actually using AI nowadays.
I would want one that did, by the way, personally.
Oh, absolutely.
And then also, like, the issue that we were talking about before, plus this issue all combines into, I think a big problem is, especially as we get more technologically capable, we need to be focusing more on philosophy and reason. And we don't do that at all. I didn't learn about philosophy or reason until I went to college. I didn't learn it at college. I learned it because I left college and I had nothing to do all day when I was living in my car. Like I was reading books in my car.
Whatever happened to that? I remember going through like high school and going through English and having to write papers, and the teacher being like, "Cite 3 references."
Oh, that's
resources.
That's APA style writing.
Right.
Yeah.
MLA.
Yeah.
I got it from ChatGPT.
Yeah.
So I wanted to touch on something because we were talking about it before, and if you guys don't have anything about it, it kind of relates to the being a good person, the societal, like just right from wrong sort of thing. When you touched on it, I thought about it. It was one of the first theories that I ever came up with. So if you guys don't mind.
Never do.
Good? Okay. It was one of the first theories that I ever came to this podcast with. I've always believed that this might be something that could be happening to us. It is a little sacrilegious. I will caveat that because and I found this video kept on coming up, and I looked at it and I was like, oh my God, that's a cool theory. I've always thought of that theory. And I didn't know that there had been a book written about it and that tons of other people also think that this theory is super interesting. The theory is called the egg theory. and I'll give the basis off of it. It's based on The Egg, a 2009 short story by Andy Weir, Weir, the guy who wrote The Martian.
Let me see my skin color.
Under one.
Okay.
It was first posted on his website, then later went super viral, translated into dozens of languages, and adapted into short films, and even the Kurzgeist video.
Kurzgeist.
Wow, that was okay. That was definitely
Charles' big word of the day.
That was not correct.
Because
I don't know how to say
I
that.
trusted him.
Because the story is written in
That's why I said that.
That's as close as I can get.
Because the story is written in second person, being you, people started calling the worldview behind the egg theory. This is really interesting. This is a story in a nutshell. You're a 48-year-old person who dies in a car accident. You wake up in a kind of in-between space and meet a being that's basically God. God tells you you've been reincarnated many, many times already. Next, you'll be reborn as a Chinese peasant girl in 540 AD.
No.
You ask, how can you be reincarnated in the past and into other people? God explains, time doesn't matter the way you think it does. Every human has ever lived or ever will live is you. You've been or will be everyone. Heroes, villains, victims, bystanders, your friends, your enemies, everyone. The twist is the whole universe is an egg, a kind of incubator of your soul. And once you've lived every human life, you'll hatch and become a godlike being yourself. So egg theory equals reading that theory as a metaphysical explanation of reality. The core ideas of the egg theory are people who usually summarize with a few key claims. One soul is all lives. This is a whole one true consciousness, you, or you being me, right? You are reincarnated as every human who will ever exist and ever will have existed across all of history. And time is non-linear.
I think it's the devil's attack on the value of empathy.
So I was gonna
because you can live in someone else's shoes if you just try.
Because so this opens up the golden rule. Eventually, it's here. Let me scroll. So boiled down, not a scientific model, just a story. Cool as a thought experiment about empathy, perspective, and how we treat each other. Potentially helpful for some people as a mindset is, if I might be everyone, how do I want to treat them?
The problem is that people turn that into a religious idea.
Potentially unhelpful.
Well, and that's literally Hindu reincarnation.
If it makes you detach from reality or dismiss real harm or suffering, you are the victim, but also the perpetrator.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, that's essentially that's the entire concept of dharma, which is like it's essentially like the step ladder, and part of why I believe the Indians believe in dharma and in that whole system of reincarnation, because like you have good karma, you ascend the ladder of possible reincarnations, is because societally they also have a caste system. They believe that like there are people who are untouchable in their society, and part of it is linked to their karma. I don't know, man. I believe in the well of souls more than anything else. I think that what
is the well of souls?
I was going to ask the same.
I think that what we conceive of as like the Godhead is a massive center of like psychic and spiritual energy that exists outside of the dimension that we can perceive, which is the third dimension at its highest. I think that there are other spiritual masses, which we would consider things like the devil. And I think about how we anthropomorphize those ideas and how we see them. Like, I think a lot of people, when they think about God, they think of like a man in a chair in heaven. Like, that's an anthropomorphization. That's like when you think, my cat feels the same emotions as me. It doesn't, it's a cat. Instead, I think that God, or the conception of God, is a well of spiritual energy and souls. And what we think of as the soul is our consciousness being received externally inside of us. And that's why we have phenomenon like deja vu. That's why we have phenomenon like we were talking about before the podcast, where you think of someone and you call them, and this is your example. You think of someone, you call them, you haven't talked to them in forever, and they're like, "Man, I was just thinking about you."
Right.
And especially with some of the experiences I've had, I feel like it's and the CIA too. They do what is it? Remote viewing.
Remote viewing.
I feel like you can almost cast yourself outside of the physical container that we exist in, and I think that when you die, a very similar process happens. I think when you have certain psychedelic experiences, a very similar process happens.
See, and I've always thought too, and I don't know if this even aligns, but by
the way, sorry, one thought I just had, that's why some people go and they have the experiences, because I agree with you on this level. Some people have psychedelic experiences and they meet a devil and they change permanently in a bad way. I think that's why that happens, because their soul is outside of the physical container. It's the same way with how bad energy and bad evil spirits have to like reach inside the container. They have to reach inside our mind to reach our souls.
You have to allow access.
You're throwing yourself out of that spiritual container.
Right. Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, and that's what I was gonna say too. Is like I think I've mentioned this on a podcast before, but like when we go to sleep at night, like our soul transitions to another soul that wakes up on the other side of the world. I don't know if that's weird or not, but we have day and night, right? Everybody goes to sleep at some point in their life. Like, could we be living in multiple parallels at the same time?
I don't think so.
I don't know, because if you wake up at like 3 a.m., you're still you. You know what I mean? Did somebody just blink out of existence on the other side?
But
I mean, like, somebody's always sleeping on the other side, anyways. I mean, that's a fun theory, I think, to kind of go down a rabbit hole.
I think it's an interesting thought experiment.
Yeah.
I'm always thinking about like the hard physics of the thing. That's where my brain
like how
goes.
would it work? I mean,
like the actual mechanics of it.
Because we only sleep. Some of us only sleep like 6 hours. Some of us sleep 8 hours. Some people sleep 10 hours. Like, but could somebody else be going to sleep early? You know, and you're like, could you be in sync with somebody else?
I think that's why it plays off that one consciousness sort of vibe, is because, yeah, you could be just transferring between.
Because I mean,
that's interesting. I
that
like
would
that
explain like vivid dreams where you actually feel like the reality.
What's it called? Lucid dreaming. Lucid.
Like it's like a lucid dream.
But I feel like too, like in a lot of lucid dreams, because by the way, you can train yourself to lucid dream. Look it up; it's really awesome. Yeah. When I have lucid dreams, if I look in a mirror, I still see me.
Well, and I bring this up because I actually saw a video of a guy that,
and if I look at my phone, I see myself.
He built in his van. I forget the name of it, but it's soundproof. It's got hyperbaric sound, white noise in there that he plays, and people pay him like $30 an hour to sit in the back of his van in pitch black darkness.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
and
like
literally
an isolation tank.
It's basically what it is. And they talk about like how they go into these deep sleeps, and how they see these wormholes and how they see themselves in different universes or parallels as a human being, and that they feel it's like that it's a reality.
Yeah. Well, and I love that idea, because I actually went and did a isolation tank experience here in San Antonio. You like get into a saltwater bath and then like it goes over you. And if
that is the trippiest feeling.
If you really, it literally
it's a flow pod.
Bro, Gary couldn't handle this shit.
I couldn't.
No. I think you could. Well,
I think we've talked about this before.
Well, and I think here's what happens too, and it kind of leads into what
really
I've talked about.
My closet.
Get me out of here!
That's not a metaphor.
And it's what leads me to the other things that I've brought up before about my thoughts on consciousness. When like, think about right now, like when we're looking at each other and speaking, think about how much raw input our brain is processing. But when you take away all that raw input and you get yourself into a state where you're not thinking about things that are happening outside of your experience that you're currently having, all of a sudden it's like you're tuning the channel just right. And I mean, when I did it, I had like a straight up almost DMT-like experience, but it was waking visual consciousness, and I was 100% sober.
I think that's also kind of like where we've progressively gotten better on like a frequency level, and how we have this podcast. Thought experiment time. Think of something you absolutely love. Just put it in your mind right now. Just think about it. You absolutely love it so much. It's something that you could just get into every single day if you ever had the choice. I'm going to guess it. Ready? Fish tacos from Fish City.
It wasn't what I was thinking
of,
but
we got
you're
more
right
work
about
to do.
that.
He was thinking about woman.
Wait, what were you thinking about?
Damn.
Whoa.
Ernest hit it, dude. Hit it around the head.
What's her name?
I'm not going to say on the podcast.
Celebrity or real person?
Well, one of them is going to be upset.
One.
It's a celebrity?
It's a real person. No, not a celebrity.
Okay, like
it's a
someone
real
new?
person.
He's
Yeah,
worked with
I'll
him.
tell you guys after.
Wait, you love a girl now?
I love many girls, Gary.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
He's 20.
Sorry.
28.
Yeah,
Sorry,
yeah.
Solomon.
Yeah. Hey, listen. Maybe the Islamists have one thing right. The thing that I think about a lot with consciousness is I feel like, imagine if you were able to experience the fourth and the fifth and maybe even higher dimensions at will, or just randomly, you would die. You would die. If you were trying to hunt down a lion and you had like a psychedelic experience, it would kill you.
You guys don't think that's too much like trying to be like God?
No.
No?
No, because it's very temporary.
Well, what is that?
I think it takes
What do you mean, actually?
Thank you for asking. You're trying to go above and beyond what you're naturally meant to be doing, which is to be on this earth and ascend to a positive eternal life and bring others with you. Not see eternal life before you get there.
What is our capability of how much brain power we're using on a daily basis? Isn't it some like 20%?
No, that's pseudoscience. It's not true.
It's weird.
I'm very curious
It's
to
weird because
know.
they say like the max that you can use, and it's a timing thing, right? It's like you can only use up to 20% at a time.
Yeah.
Because we're as human beings, our
It's a very
brain.
relative statement that people
Well,
kind of.
and it's kind of like saying your computer can only use 20% of its processing power because you can only run one program at a time.
Well, let's be frank.
It's not really correct.
Yeah. It's 20% of the right side of your brain because there's a statistic that says you hardly use your left.
No, it's pseudoscience.
Is that pseudoscience?
It's pseudoscience. Yeah, it's like actual pseudoscience. No, because it's like different parts of your brain process different things. Like imagine your brain like a computer core, like a computer chip, except one of the cells does one thing and one does another thing and the other does the other thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're not processing anything with your pineal gland. It excretes hormones that affect your brain, right? You're not processing the fact that you're hungry with your frontal lobe unless the feeling is so strong that you're like, man, I'm starving.
And your pineal gland, and hopefully I didn't butcher that, isn't that the gland that carries your thoughts and your memories?
No.
And when you go out of this earth, that's
what it does. It secretes, and this is scientifically proven. I think it was God. What's his name? He wrote the spirit molecule. He's a doctor. God, I feel so bad. He's so smart and so cool. He did during his trials giving people DMT, injecting it in them in a clinical setting. Injecting it's crazy, by the way. He proved that the pineal gland releases endogenous DMT.
I think the reason why I'm asking...
impressed he said DMT and not dimethyltryptamine, which I've been practicing in the mirror for like the last 2 weeks.
You did it great.
Yeah, thanks. Appreciate it. Thank you.
The reason why I'm asking that is because if our brains are so creative. That's why we're talking about this right now. We're being very creative. Our brains are so creative that we can think of these complex ideals and theories that if we are trapped in that little tank, and we are super calm, we're not thinking about anything else, and we use 100% of our brain computing power to achieve some sort of reality, I don't necessarily think that'd be like trying to be like godlike. I think it's almost we are trying to fully perceive what the possibilities are, and if those possibilities are potentially real at some point, I don't think that's necessarily godlike.
Yeah,
I think it's just our basic creativity, like. Aspect.
Well, and I think also too on some level the issue that you're trying to describe, and correct me if I'm wrong, this is what you're saying. You're saying that having an experience like a psychedelic experience is too much like seeing beyond the veil.
Yeah,
Why is that a bad thing?
Because I think there's a lot of power in that. I think it's one of the most powerful things that you can do. And if you do it irresponsibly, which is the majority of people, then you open yourself to things that you're not spiritually guarded for.
That is 100% correct.
I can agree with that.
There are people who wreck themselves, even on like edible marijuana, which is a psychedelic.
Yeah.
There are people who develop schizophrenia from that.
They actually break. Yeah.
And I think that schizophrenia in general is a misalignment of the radio receiver that your brain acts as, and you're receiving, instead of just general consciousness, you're seeing like demonic forces.
All consciousness.
So in your perception, these things could be altering our safeguards that we know.
I think we naturally have these safeguards.
Yes. And you have to, because otherwise the lion's going to kill you. Because if you're having a spiritual experience with your ancestors in the middle of a hunt, well, you're freaking dead.
Right, but it's hard to say that because it's a muscle, and we have to train the muscle, and we have to
naturally right.
Right. So if we continuously train the muscle as far as evolution goes,
I think we can. You're right.
Because
I think we can train that muscle naturally through enough prayer, meditation, and reading of the proper word and having the right vibrations around us. But to just force that without being spiritually and mentally prepared, which is why there's shamans and yada yada yada. Who knows? It's almost like relying on a priest to take his prayers for you to God.
Right.
You don't know. what that priest is doing behind closed doors, just like you don't know what that shaman is doing behind closed doors unless that priest or shaman have 1,872 5-star Google reviews.
What I'm saying, though, is like
what's the track record?
How macabre. How macabre, actually, the Google review part.
But that's what I'm saying. How can you really know that this person is actually have your best interest at heart when you could just do it yourself and put in the work? It's a shortcut.
What I'm saying is, like 1,000 years ago, though, we didn't have the amount of creativity we do now. And that's just through evolution. And I'm saying 1,000 years from now, if we can get closer to experiencing something like the fourth wall or the fifth wall.
I can't agree.
If we make it.
Maybe
that's true.
Maybe the intelligence was lacking.
Right.
But I do also think that far more people had less impactful platforms, and as far as being able to expose what their art was to more people. But I do also feel like that the older generations were actually more creative, as long as they could read a book and teach themselves. And because what is killing?
Well, they had to be too.
They had to be. Thank you. They had to be to survive. But not only that, imagine their artistic expressions within the home, within their own families. We don't get that. What does my family do? We watch TV. What do I do while they're watching TV? I game with you nerds. Right? You know what I'm saying?
Is reflective now. You make such a good point, Gary, because art is reflective now. When you look at art that's done, it's reflecting upon things that somebody's already seen.
Mm-hmm.
And it always has been.
And that's what I said several weeks ago, was like, these movies don't just come to fruition because somebody goes, oh, hey, that sounds like a great idea. Mm-hmm. It's an experience that somebody's had. Or
yes. Well, and also a lot of Western movies are made by committee now. That's why I think anime is taking over as a dominant media force.
Oh my gosh. I'm not judging.
And here's why. It's because generally the way that it goes through the whole filter and becomes like an anime product is some dude draws it for like 30 volumes, and it's just one dude, and then people buy it and they say, okay, well, it's good. Whereas the West does this committee style production.
Well, and I want to go back to his thing real quick.
You know how I know that we should all be doing this every week and that we're awesome together? Because we're talking about artistic expression. We're talking about Western. And guess what I put on my topics? Red Dead 3 is reportedly entered pre-production. Hallelujah.
Bro, are we going to get Red Dead 3 before GTA 6? That's crazy.
That's what I'm saying.
That would be funny.
That is actually something you could bet on Kalish.
Just a random ADHD gaming moment, but yeah.
But I want to go back to your point, because you were talking about how we're becoming so advanced as a civilization. Well, there are some believers out there that believe that prehistoric civilizations were more advanced than where we're at.
We had to be stopped. That's why it was the Terraria thing. It was the progression was too fast, too quick, and it had to be slowed down. So you ruin the empire and then you start again.
Have you guys?
So could that be happening though?
Have you read any of Graham Hancock's books or watched his Netflix special? You should. I think you would love it.
I don't read books.
Well, and Graham Hancock.
Books are for nerds.
Graham Hancock has
nerds during the summer.
Graham Hancock has talked about the fact that there were civilizations prior to recorded history about 14,700 years ago. Yeah, you love getting your hands on cock.
But that's why some people believe like the pyramids are a scam, that it was built by horse and buggy or by buggy.
Well, we don't know what it was built by at this point, because not only that, like they say it was cut with copper tools, and I mean people have literally gone out and tried that, and it takes like months to cut a single block.
Well,
and not only that, the precision.
And
of
now
these
there are
cuts.
coils under the pyramids.
Well.
Or
yes.
pillars wrapped
pillars
in copper.
Sure. Some type of large mass that we can't readily identify. And the problem is we should know what's happening, but the Egyptian government doesn't want to explore that.
Yeah, the point is somebody knows.
Somebody knows.
This is my Terraria theory. Yeah. I'm going to go back to it, and it's just moved with sound.
Are you talking about video game Terraria?
Well, but some people believe that those were built.
No.
Because when it came out, they believed that it was built based off energy, like to transfer energy.
Yeah. Well, and think about imagine
or receive energy.
Imagine somebody finding our power infrastructure today, if any of it survived, and being like, "What is this?" It's kind of a very similar thought.
I agree with that.
It's like infrastructure is so hard, but I want to go back to your original question. No, I don't think so. I don't think it's trying to be God, and I don't think it's going too far, because the experience is temporary. The effects can be permanent. I mean, I was an atheist until I did DMT and mushrooms. And then I was faced with the fact that there is no way there is not God, and you can actually inhale or ingest a plant, and you'll meet Him. and he'll tell you, hey man, you know that you should be disappointed in these things about yourself. What are you doing? I think that God is that force that makes plants grow.
Is it
I think that's really
Tartarian?
what he is.
It might be Tartarian.
Tartar. Yeah. Tartarian.
That might be it. I don't know.
But to your point too is like, it's all perceived in like how people actually use it.
It's a terrarium
right?
where you keep
To going to different
A
consciousness.
terrarium.
Because when I got in the float pod, I didn't feel
What you
like I
said?
had an out of body experience.
Hey, just smile and be pretty, okay?
Sorry, Ernest. There's so much going on.
Sorry.
Say it one more time.
Well, no, I was just saying like because I did the whole float pod thing. It's like 1,500 pounds of Epsom salt or something like
Yes.
that, or that makes you literally zero gravity and you're just floating in a pod with the lid closed over you, complete darkness.
Yeah.
I never once felt like I went into another parallel, but what I did feel is like my body reset.
Interesting.
Love that, honestly. And I used to fall asleep to, and now the more I dove into it, it's kind of creepy. But like sleep hypnosis. The first few times I did it, it was just really just relaxed breathing, and then ambient noise that made you feel, and then a calm voice in the background. And then I was like, man, that person could be saying anything, and trying to convince me to do something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So but the first few times I did it, the best sleep I've ever had in my entire life. So,
Same.
and I think it was because there was some sort of reflection as I was falling asleep. It was almost like meditation. It was calmness that I'd never felt in my life before.
Well, and what was so wild too is like my bones didn't ache. My body felt the best. The next day I hit the gym. I actually ran like 5 miles. Hadn't
also
done
be the
that.
salt
It could have been the salt intake.
Yeah.
Ran 5 miles, but I mean, it literally felt like a body
flex.
reset. Vision was had more clarity.
I think when you remove external stimuli, I think it's a good thing for you. Because
Yeah.
when I first started meditating, and this is also why I think I had a very similar, like I had an experience where I saw like open eye visuals, closed eye visuals. When I started meditating, it took 6 months before it like felt good, and I could just sit down and just whoom, I'm there. I'm exactly where I want to be. There's so much, like as you were talking about in a different way, work that you have to do with your psyche to get there.
Yeah.
It is, and then when you finally get there and you have that psychological experience, and then you go into a float tank, it's like the easiest meditation session of your life.
Amplified.
I wish I could do that. I just have a constant ringing in my ears, so I can't do it.
Yeah, it's tough.
I'm like,
There's a cure for that because I have tinnitus as well. So every time you get
I
the
thought
ring,
you were being...
no, Dee's nuts joke.
I got tinnitus
Okay,
too.
so here's how you do it.
Is this Gary's medical advice?
Whenever you have a ringing in your ears, the tinnitus comes. You put your hands over your ears like this, and you completely seal them. And then back here, my fingers are doing this.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I thought he was
Right?
going to be like,
And it's gonna sound like a drum is beating, just lightly doing it. It's just lightly beating.
yeah.
And then the ringing goes away immediately.
That's
like
crazy.
if you do that right now,
I'm not doing it on camera.
okay. Well, I mean,
I'll turn into a GIF or something, and I don't want to do that.
I would love that.
You'd be a meme.
I would love to have a gift of David.
it's instant relief.
They're gonna have
I
David
don't
Light.
have tinnitus,
You know
so I
what's
don't know.
you know what's actually insane? Insane. I know we're jumping a little bit, but
I should have closed my mouth right there.
the other. Gary knows about this.
There's gonna be like a hot dog or something getting.
Actually, I think Gary knows.
Blizzmaster
About
Ernie.
Glizzy overdrive.
Gliz dog or anything. That shit was so funny, dude.
That's on camera forever. It's funny because you talked about running 5 miles. Gary knows about this. I don't know. You guys probably don't know about it. But when we were talking about consciousness, God, and like what was it? Signs and like connecting on a spiritual level, whether it be like the megahertz or the radio waves or whatever. The craziest shit happened to me the other day, and I want to talk about that too because I'm selfish right now. I ran 5 miles or so the other day. I was running, got onto Westover Hills, ran up the hill, and I saw this homeless man. Something he was holding a sign saying, "A taco will help. Just hungry," that kind of thing. And I'm like, oh, I appreciate your honesty, right? And so I'm running past, and I'm like, I look back at him. I'm like, okay, I'll stop on the way back. You know, this is a normal, like, easy run for me. So I'm on the way back. I jump into the median, and I walk over to him, and I'm like, hey, do you have any like dietary restrictions? I'm gonna go get you some food. And he was like, dealer's choice. I really appreciate it. Whatever you get me, I'll be super thankful for. So I was like, okay, cool. Went into the gas station, got him a couple barbecue sandwiches. I got him a whole bunch of shit, actually. I looked at the total and I was like, what the fuck? Came over to him, and I was like, hey, man, here you go. for November, I was like, it's extremely hot outside, so go enjoy your dinner, lunch, whatever. Stay cool. I'll be praying for you. And he was like, God bless you. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. He shook my hand, and as I grabbed his hand, I looked down at his hand, and I saw literally the blue Converse that I just donated a day before. This man was wearing my blue Converse that I just donated. And I looked at it and I was like, where'd you get those at? And he was like, oh, I picked them up at the Goodwill a few days ago. My feet have been, he took off his shoes. Like, my feet have been bleeding, so I got some socks and shoes. And I was like, well, you're not going to believe me, but those are mine. I just donated those.
Did you tell him to give them back?
No.
I'm gonna need those back now.
What's really kind of funny is as I walked away, and he was like, "That's crazy." And we had this whole experience about it. As I walked away, I texted my wife and I said, "I think I just met Jesus Christ." And I had the weirdest feeling. Right now, I'm like coming back to it. And I'm like, I had the weirdest feeling in my heart that just happened. And she's like freaking out. She's like, did my husband just die? Like, what is happening? She called me and I'm going over this explanation, and she was like, I was like, it's funny because those shoes are not comfortable. He was like, these are the best shoes. Thank you so much, for donating. They're the best. And I'm like, they're not. That's why I donated them. They're horrible. And she was like, well, you want to go get him new shoes? And I'm like, I don't know.
Should.
Like what to do. It's just the weirdest feeling. And
go get him some Hokas.
I actually have spare Hokas that I've trained with, but yeah, I wanted to tell that story. And I think that what's really funny is my mom was like, "Can I share your testimony?" Because I didn't believe that was a testimony. I didn't believe that I still don't. That was the weirdest moment of my entire life that happened to me. I don't know how to explain it.
Be ready to have more.
But it was the weirdest thing. So that's my.
They come in waves.
Yeah, it was the craziest thing that's ever happened to me.
That's wild.
So sorry, I just wanted to touch on that because it was special, I think.
Well, did you guys hear about Tom Brady?
Tom Brady?
The guy who kissed his son?
Yeah.
That's the most crazy thing that's ever happened to me.
That's actually
the most
the only
crazy
thing I think about
that's
when
what
I
he's
think
known
about Tom
for,
Brady.
actually.
Yeah.
That's all he's known for.
So it's the only thing I think about with him.
So he revealed, let's see, when was this? Last week, that he cloned his DNA 23 years ago in a bioscience experiment in North Carolina, and the source is NFL Drop.
I did hear about this.
So yeah, bioscience experiment in North Carolina, and the human is reported to be alive today, sharing similar physical traits to Brady. Well, Drake May is 23 years old. He was born on August 30th, 2002. In Huntersville, North Carolina. He is also the quarterback for the New England Patriots, and he played college football for the North Carolina Tar Heels. So there's a little bit of conspiracy circulating that Drake May might be a Tom Brady offspring.
Clone.
Drake
May.
Yeah, Drake.
Oh.
Drake, the performance
quarterback.
artist.
I haven't seen a side by side yet, but this is
What are the Patriots' record right now?
9-3, 8-3. They're doing well. They're having a good year.
How many son kisses per game are they having?
Well, I don't.
Not son kissed.
I don't think Brady would
Son
kiss
kiss.
himself. Maybe he would. If I was Tom Brady, I'd
Shit,
kiss
okay,
myself.
yeah, I kiss myself. How many rings that guy get?
Yeah, all of them.
Like 8? Wasn't it like 8?
I'm gonna do a Tom Brady and Drake May side by side image search.
They look similar.
That's whoever cloned him did an awful job.
Let me see. I want to see the clone.
I think that explains David's reaction. Like, Drake May? What? No.
Yeah.
The Canthal tilt is completely different. There's no way.
Maybe that's what Tom Brady would look like if he wasn't vegan.
Is Tom Brady a vegan?
Super vegan.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
What an athlete for being a vegan, though.
His Subway
Is that
commercial
wrong for me to say?
No, it's totally correct. Veganism is very bad for you. Generally, you have to do a lot of stuff to keep up with it.
Like witchcraft with your wife.
Was he a vegan when he won this? Hold on. How long has Tom Brady been a vegan?
A long time.
That's crazy. Because that's an amazing athlete. I actually thought about that a few days ago about how most people are only in the NFL for a little bit. They retire, and then medically, 30, 40 years later, they're in wheelchairs because it takes so many hits. That stunts their growth, all that. And the fact that he's made it so long is insane.
Yeah.
And for a
he's
vegan?
80% vegan.
Oh, how do you become? How are you 80% vegan?
Marry a witch. I don't know.
He's eating 80% vegetables and like no animal products, and he's eating 20% lean meat.
I'm not being funny. Giselle is an actual.
that's not a vegan then.
It's not a vegan. Yeah.
She's a light side witch.
Yeah, because there's no way. I mean, like the amount of protein, like let's say you take in like 100 grams of plant protein versus 100 grams of like animal protein, the amount of bioavailability of that protein is not even close. I think it's 1/5.
Yeah,
While we're on the topic of
So
sports,
you would have to eat 5 times more to get the same.
Did you
amount.
see that LeBron James is coming back up from the G League?
LeBron James?
Yeah, it's crazy.
LeBron James.
And Bronny's a starter.
Bronny.
We are in fucking multiverse. God, I did it again. Dang it.
That's crazy. The Hadron Collider, everything has just changed our whole.
Ever since they turned it on.
Dude, it's crazy. The
CERN.
just
Damn
the
you, CERN.
Just the shit.
It's wild.
Oh man.
And on that note, Gary, you have any other topics?
Yeah, I mean, we pretty much come. Oh, yeah. Oh, dude.
How'd you forget that one?
Dude, I know. Oh my gosh. So like,
God.
somebody, what's their names? Geopolitics Watch put out a video that basically just combined 5 videos from 5 different very influential people from around the world who are discussing the depopulation agenda. And for all the folks that, trust these political people or whatnot, I'm just going to go ahead and play that video because people just don't want to believe it, man. And it comes right out of their mouth, and then they go read something that says, "Oh, well, they didn't mean it that way." Well, let's go ahead and
I'll put the video here.
Yeah, I got you. Ready?
When we invest in clean energy and electric vehicles and reduce population,
Is that Kamala?
Yes.
our children can breathe clean air and drink clean water.
First, we've got population. Now, the world today has 6.8 billion people. That's headed up to about 9 billion.
Bill Gates.
Now, if we do a really great job on new vaccines, healthcare, reproductive health services, we could lower that by perhaps 10 or 15%.
What do we need humans for?
Yuval
or at least,
Harari?
what do we need so many humans for?
Do you have an answer in the book?
At present, the best guess we have is keep them happy with drugs and computer games.
Yeah.
Substituting humans for machines is going to be far easier in those countries that have declining populations.
Please think about
Jane
what
Goodall.
you and your organization can do to help human population decrease.
When we invest in clean energy
Dude,
and
straight out of the horse's mouth.
Well, and then here's the thing too that I always think about when I think about it, because it's 100%. I mean, they all say it, they all agree with it. It's a Brussels idea. The thing that they're not saying out loud is there's like 1.8 billion people in India. There's like 1 billion people in Africa. They're not bringing that message there. By the way, they're not bringing that to China. I think that what this is. I think that China has completely co-opted and captured the Western political powers. And instead of having like a real war, which they would lose, the Chinese are not good at war, by the way. They're good at subterfuge. You can look at their military conquest. They're not good at it. They are convincing our leaders to essentially have the West commit suicide. And they're doing it with the climate agenda too, because India doesn't need to clean up the Ganges. They don't need to stop dumping mercury and toxic waste into it. But you in Europe and America should not be able to drive a truck.
And you know what that means? It's time for Charlie's word of the day.
Okay, if subterfuge is a big word of the day,
is that the word you were talking about?
Okay, what's subterfuge, guys?
Was that the word you were talking about? Wait.
No, David. What's subterfuge?
I don't have
Ernie?
I don't have the definition for it, but I.
Oh, you do? Oh, what is it?
No, I don't have it.
Oh, okay.
But in context, I know what he's talking about.
I don't want to live on this planet anymore.
Hey guys, we're
Wait,
not on
did
Charles.
you Google subterfuge?
3.0. Yeah,
We haven't had a Charles Big World of the Day.
In a while.
Yeah. Okay, so
I'm regressing.
That
to
was
the
a
mean.
Hail Mary. That was
yeah,
like
dude,
fourth quarter.
If nobody
10 seconds
in
left.
here knows what the
You're on the-
word is, It's Charlie's
Don,
word of
do
the
you know
day.
subterfuges? Okay. So
cool.
nobody knows. Okay.
Yeah. Well, we're not all Charles Grunk 3.0. Anyways, fucking subterfuge, per the Oxford Languages, is a noun. Means deceit used in order to achieve one's goal. Used in a sentence, he had to use subterfuge and bluff on many occasions.
Yes, and that's what the Chinese government is doing. They're through subversive means. They are encouraging the West to kill itself because, again, we're talking about ethnic groups that remember the past. Well, the Chinese remember when the British and various British allies imported opium into their country to destabilize them and put in a puppet ruler. That's what the Boxer Rebellion was. That's what the Opium War was. The opium trade into the country. That they remember that. Hey, by the way, isn't it weird that they're the ones making all the fentanyl precursors and sending it to us? When an idea works on you, funny enough, it probably works on your enemies too.
I think they tried with COVID.
You know, opium, for as awful as it is, it's a
destroyed
fun word.
our economy.
It's a fun word.
Yeah.
Opium. I just want to make a jingle out of it. Opium.
I don't know either, did. But yeah, they
come on, guys.
They're doing it on purpose,
Ernie,
and then
appreciate
that's
it.
what this is.
These guys are assholes.
They're depopulating it, and they're also behind the ones who are like, hey, let's move 1 million Africans into Europe. They're doing that on purpose. Did you notice they're not moving 1 million?
It's the Islamists. I think it's the Islamists they're moving in a lot of.
Well, it's also Africans.
They're also coming to America.
Yeah, they're doing that, but China doesn't take in those people.
Oh, Japan's having a big problem with it right now.
Yeah.
Well, Sweden has had a big problem.
They've had a big problem with it, yes. But the problem is that again the Swedes are still on that suicidal path, and they're not really reversing course.
Which is wild because you remember the whole issue, the whole tragic event that happened with that Swedish girl that recently moved here. She was escaping that.
Oh no, she was Ukrainian. She was a Ukro.
Was she? No, there was wasn't there a Swedish?
Are you talking about Ilina Zarez?
Okay, maybe yeah.
Subway?
Yeah, maybe I was wrong.
No,
but that wasn't even African that killed her. It was just a dude, a natural.
Well, it was an African American.
It was African American, but it wasn't like a immigrant.
Yeah. But our leaders are importing these massive amounts of people there, and not only that, like you look at the advertisements, you look at like the state sanctioned in Sweden, for example, they literally have a program where they teach invaders how to fornicate with and copulate with like the local women. Of that area.
It's like
I saw a video on the.
They're mongrelizing the West so that the China can take over it. That's the point.
I saw a video on before I was on my way over here, and it was talking about the translation of the Talmud, and how in there it actually talks about the ramifications of having relationships with underage kids.
Yep.
And the monetary rewards that should be. It's like 200. I forget. It starts with a D. It's like 200.
Yeah.
Dinos or something like that. I forget.
Yeah. Well, and I'm not making any kind of apologia for that. We've got to remember too that is a pre-Bronze Age ideology. And also Islam follows this, although I think it's obviously abhorrent. I think it's evil and it's wrong. Those were things, and the Europeans did that too. Those kinds of things, like the rape, like you have to marry, if you rape a woman, you have to marry her. If you rape a woman, you have to marry her. That type of stuff is a product of a society where there's like 200 people, and if that woman has a child and that child is born out of wedlock, that's going to be a literal destabilization for the village that it happens in.
I also think that's also why God wiped those civilizations from the earth.
Totally
because
agree.
They got so out of hand.
Yeah.
And obviously it shouldn't be happening in the first place. Like just one is out of hand.
Yeah.
But the fact that it became so prevalent, prominent, whatever you want to describe that as, God just wiped them off the surface, right? And just, cursed their land. Like you see all of these lands around that have no resources.
Well, that was Sodom and Gomorrah.
That's been, I think it's more than that, dude. It goes across the entire globe. I also feel, it's people say
it is a globe.
It's true. It's a disc.
Heliocentric globe disc.
That's
it's
crazy.
a donut.
Again,
it's a donut.
it doesn't matter. We're gonna find out when we die.
We're
anyway,
a waffle cone. Let's just get it over with.
Anyways,
So
but
true.
that's
So
again.
true.
But I also feel like that's why it's kind of still happening unchecked, because in the end times, if that's what we're in, we're going to be experiencing birth pangs on the earth, right? And birth pangs are not pleasant. If you've ever had a woman you've seen be pregnant and have those birth pangs and just the excruciating dude, honestly, man, seeing a chick have birth, especially the woman you love, that you realize this is the greatest pain you ever did to anybody in your life. Like, I'm literally seeing my kids be like my wife have kids, and all I can think of is like, wow, I did this to someone. Like,
damn girl, that fits in there.
Like I did this to I hurt her. I'm hurting her. Like, this is just, it is.
You hurt her during the creation,
dude. Crazy thing. Crazy thing. But again, like, it is, I feel like there is judgment that is coming. What that looks like, how widespread it's going to be. I feel like it's all detailed in prophecy. So if you haven't got a Bible yet, go get one that you understand. It doesn't have to be, just because you read King James doesn't mean that you're holier than everybody else. It just means that you like to work harder to get information.
Just don't read the Schofield Bible, for God's sakes.
You know what I want to leave us on too? I sent this to Gary. But Hindu Times is reporting that there is now investigations into a second shooter.
Oh,
for the Kirk thing?
Well, we have to remember it is coming from the Hindu Times, so we are not 100% sure. We do not know. We do not know today itself for a fact.
Hard F.
We do not know today itself for a fact, my friend, and that is what has happened.
Is that Apu?
That's H1B1.
Is that Apu from The Simpsons?
Well, and you guys got to know, I went to a high school that was literally 25% Indian.
Where'd you go to high school?
Austin.
He's like, I'm not saying.
All the techies kids? Dude, crazy.
Yeah. My literal best friend in high school was an Indian guy.
Oh,
named
so
Aman.
that's why you're so good at that. You guys used to make fun of each other.
Yeah.
What
his
what
father
was his white
literally-
voice like? Your friend's white voice?
He just sounded like that.
Oh, no,
Yeah.
but I'm saying, he sounded white.
Hello, I'm Charles.
Yeah, he sounded as white as I did, but
Okay.
his father.
Yeah.
I mean, that voice I did was his father.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's like spot on.
Yeah, my
That's
black
crazy.
voice is great. I had a lot of black
Yeah,
friends.
yeah,
don't,
no, I'm
don't be weird,
saying.
guys, because it's 2025. Okay, I just had a lot of black friends. I play ball. Don't make it weird. Okay?
You made it weird.
I did. I'm just.
Thanks for
had to
tuning
rehash
into
that.
Truth Disorder. This has been great.
Nami.
Peace.
Oh my god. I was gonna say that's
Sorry,
where,
dude. The
that's where
source
your
is
actions came from.
horrible. Hindu-
Holy to the Almighty. This is the call to the chosen and the true. Warriors of the Lamb, He is calling you.